Alright, for my next video, I thought I'd go ahead and do a video on the recent Yakuza drama that's been going around. And this article reads as thus. Like a Dragon, Yakuza actor reveals Prime Video banned him and others from playing the game, so show could explore characters from scratch. This article is dated August 10th, 2024, and it is done by John F. Trent. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and give some commentary along as I read this, but before I get started, I have not played any of the Yakuza games, so I don't know the characters or the story. But I do know, for a matter of fact, if I were a fan of this series, I would want the people who are making the live-action series to have played the games. Same with the actors, in order to do it right. This just sounds like someone on the production team and writing team is being a narcissist and wanting to put their own stamp on a popular franchise. Anyone recall what happened to the Halo TV series? I rest my case. Let's go ahead and read, shall we? Actor Ryoma Takechi, who plays Kiryu in Prime Video's upcoming live-action adaptation of Like a Dragon, Yakuza revealed he was banned from playing the game so the show could explore characters from scratch. I do apologize for butchering any of the names while I read this. Speaking with Games Radar at San Diego Comic-Con, Takechi shared, "I know these games, everybody in the world knows these games, but I haven't played them." He then revealed the production team stopped him from playing the game. "I'd like to try them, but they had to stop me because they wanted to for the character in the script explored from scratch. That's why I decided not to play." The fans don't want you to go from scratch. They want the characters that they fell in love with from the games to be represented as closely as possible to the characters from the games. You're gonna do nothing but piss the fan base off if you decide not to play the games and you are still doing your own thing. How many times does Hollywood have to do this? His fellow actor Kento Kaki, who plays Akira Nishikiyama, also added, "I definitely knew the property very well, but I didn't realize the franchise was this globally big. We decided we would make sure we would do our own versions. Relive the characters, take their spiritual elements, and embody them on their own. There was a clear line we wanted to draw, but everything on the bottom was respect," Kaki concluded. "I highly doubt that. This is likely a recipe for disaster, and the show will be nothing like the video game series it is based on. In fact, George R.R. Martin has been raising the alarm bells about Hollywood studios, producers, showrunners, and others disrespecting the source material when it comes to the adaptations in a recent blog post." Martin discussed the dragons in Game of Thrones and contrasted them to various other dragons such as J.R.R. Tolkien's Smaug and Vermitrax, Perdrax in Dragon Slayer, as well as Toothless in How to Train Your Dragon, among others. After detailing how adaptations of his series got the Targaryen heraldry wrong by including dragons with 4 limbs rather than 2, Martin asserted fantasy needs to be grounded. It is not simply a license to do anything you like. Smaug and Toothless may be both dragons, but they should never be confused. Ignore canon and the world you've created comes apart like tissue paper. I have my own issues with George R.R. Martin, but he's 100% correct right here. Nothing holds together if you just ignore the established canon of popular series. Books, video games, it doesn't matter. You cannot ignore canon or the rules of that world. This is not the first time he's made such comments. He bashed Hollywood screenwriters and producers for believing they can improve on the source material of standout authors such as Ian Fleming, Stan Lee, J.R.R. Tolkien, and others when they attempted to adapt their stories to film or television. He wrote on his blog, "Everywhere you look, there are more screenwriters and producers eager to take great stories and make them their own. It does not seem to matter whether the source material was written by Stan Lee, Charles Dickens, Ian Fleming, Roald Dahl, Ursula K. Le Guin, J.R.R. Tolkien, Mark Twain, Raymond Chandler, Jane Austen, or well, anyone. No matter how major a writer it is, no matter how great the book, there always seems to be someone on hand who thinks he can do better, eager to take the story and improve on it." He continued, "The book is the book, the film is the film. They will tell you, as if they were saying something profound. Then they make the story their own. They never make it better though. 999 times out of 1,000, they make it worse. J.R.R. Martin is not wrong in this department. Martin made similar comments back in 2022 alongside novelist Neil Gaiman. The two spoke on the subject during an appearance at the New York City Symphony Space, as reported by Variety. Martin rhetorically asks, how faithful do you have to be? Some people don't feel that they have to be faithful at all. There's this phrase that goes around, I'm going to make it my own. I hate that phrase, and I think Neil probably hates that phrase too. Gaiman responded, I do. I spent 30 years watching people make Sandman their own. Some of these people haven't even read Sandman. To make it their own, they just flip through a few comics or something. Martin then detailed that there are changes that you have to make, or that they're called upon to make, that I think are legitimate, and there are other ones that are not legitimate. Variety's Ethan Shanfield then details Martin recalled Roger Zelensky adapting The Last Defender of Camelot for the Twilight Zone, and that due to budget constraints, being forced to choose between having horses or elaborate Stonehenge-esque set for a battle scene. Martin did not want to make the decision, so he left it up to Zelensky, who chose to cut the horses. Martin explained, that to my mind is the kind of stuff you are called upon to do in Hollywood. That is legitimate. He even noted, this is why the Iron Throne is not depicted in the show as it is written in the book. Why is the Iron Throne in Game of Thrones not the Iron Throne as described in the book? Why is it not 15 feet high and made of 10,000 swords? Because the ceiling in our soundstage was not 15 feet high. We couldn't fit it in there. And they weren't willing to give us St. Paul's Cathedral or Westminster Abbey to shoot our little show in. That, I think, is understandable. That is constraints to the soundstage themselves. So that is an understandable change. Martin comments also echoed what the Lord of the Rings novelist and creator J.R.R. Tolkien detailed in his On Fairy Stories essay. Tolkien detailed that a storymaker proves himself a success sub-creator when he makes a secondary world which your mind can enter inside it. What he relates is true. It accords with the laws of that world. You therefore believe it. Well, you are, as it were, inside. However, Tolkien adds, the moment disbelief arises, the spell is broken, the magic of art has failed you. You are then out of the primary world again, looking at the little abbreviated secondary world from outside. If you are obliged by kindlessness or circumstance to stay, then disbelief must be suspended or stifled. Otherwise, listening and looking would become intolerable. But this suspension of disbelief is a substitute for the genuine thing. A subterfuge we use when condescending to games or make-believe, or when trying, more or less willingly, to find what virtue we can in the work of art that has for us failed. As for Like a Dragon Yakuza, the official log line from Amazon Stage in 1995 and 2005, spanning across 2 time periods, Like a Dragon Yakuza, an original crime suspense action series, follows the life, childhood friends, and repercussions of the decision of the Kazuma Kiryu, a fearsome, peerless Yakuza warrior with a strong sense of justice, duty, and humanity. Amazon also made it clear in a press release that the show is an original story based off Sega's global hit game franchise. The company added, the story is set in Kamurocho and tells the story of the main character Kazuma Kiryu and his growth through an original screenplay. The show will debut its first 3 episodes on Prime Video on Thursday, October 24th, 2024. What do you make of these comments from Ryoma Takechi and Kanto Taki? Alright, I'm not gonna blame the 2 main actors because obviously they were trying to play the games and the production staff stopped them from playing the games. I put all of this blame on the production team because your job is to do an adaptation of the games, not your own story. You didn't make anything. You are adapting someone else's stories and work, and in this terms, a Japanese work. These games are very popular, and I'm pretty sure that the fan base is pissed about this. And my advice to the Yakuza fan base, if you're pissed about this, do not watch it. Boycott this series and show them you are not happy with the changes that they made. Anyway, that's all I got for today. If you got anything, tell me what you guys think down below in the comments about this whole Yakuza situation. Because in my personal opinion, this is BS. And if we know what Hollywood likes to do with properties that they get their hands on nowadays, especially Japanese properties, I have a feeling that this probably is going to be hot garbage when it comes out. Anyway, this has been Ryder. I'm out.